Good morning everyone, we've got a wet one today. As always, I'm just doing a little bit of setup, making sure everything is as it should be. Got a link on Facebook, all that jazz. Do appear to have quite a bit of water on the camera, but thankfully the camera is got a lovely, it's waterproof. We'll get to test it properly today. Go. All right. Like I said, we've got a bit of a wet one today. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can clean that lens really quick. But I believe we are all good to go. Alrighty. Well, we had a bit of an exciting day yesterday. Don't know if any of you have seen it. I came off yesterday. Trying not to be too upset about it. First horse to get me off in my Western saddle in 4 years. I've fallen off bareback and in my English a few times, but I mostly feel bad for him. I feel bad that I wasn't able to stay with him and help him with that. But it just adds to the point that these videos are not meant to be educational, how to start your young horse videos. I have chosen a very sensitive little Arab to be on this live stream, one of my horses. I have a tendency with my own horses to cut corners because I know them so well. I do things a little differently with them because I have little quirks that I've already set up. But I'm not going to make excuses. I did let him down a little bit by not staying with him yesterday. We got to a really good place in the end, didn't we, Lollipop? Where you were walking, I wouldn't say confidently, but you got the idea that we wanted to walk and that you didn't need to buck to get there or panic to get there. Come here. We're going to start the day. We're going to start the day, kiddo. Yeah. Little Lollipop. If you want to watch that video, it's up, it's live. I've not deleted it as much as my ego wanted me to delete it, and for anyone who's wondering, the only thing that is sore is my ego. Which probably can do with being knocked down a peg anyway, because it always can do with that. So today we're basically going to go through it all again. It is a bit more of a damp day, so everything's covered, including Lollipop for our warm-up. Honestly, nothing's really going to change. We're going to do a little bit more things around things touching his right side at the back, as I think that was potentially what caused the panic in the first place. But honestly, the real issue was that I didn't stay with it. It wasn't actually that bad of a bronching session that you did yesterday, was it? It was more that I was not in the right position when it happened. But he let me get straight back on, and we found a nice calm place in the end. Which is good, which is what we want to hear. So for anyone who's wondering, some of the things that may have helped me out might have been to do rope around with the saddle on. Why I didn't do it? Because rope around is something I've done with him a lot, just not with a saddle on. So that's one thing that may have helped. Another thing is I could have sat a lot better. I lost my left stirrup very early on. This is where you pooped yesterday. Is this going to become a thing? And I can blame lockdown for that, as we had no horses in training during that time. But the reality is I wasn't there. I'll talk about it in the weekly review for this week in more detail than that, but I also could have got a bend a little bit quicker, which I didn't do, did I? Oh. The second time you got upset, I did bend you quick enough, and that helped a lot. You can, if you want to watch the videos back, you can see that the first time my hand was pulled back as far as it could go, but I hadn't shortened my rein enough. And potentially if I'd caught that a bit quicker, or if I'd been in a round pen, we may have been in a different situation. Most first rides should be done in a round pen, but our round pen is unsafe at the moment. We can only use it when the weather's been very dry. We didn't use it earlier in the year because it was too hard. It was like working them on concrete, and then now it's just a mud patch. So unfortunately, until we're able to get it surfaced, which hopefully will be by the end of the year, I'll be starting here and I'll be making adjustments that have to be made for starting horses in arenas. For those of you that don't know, this is just a warm-up. I do this every time. It's not particularly interesting, is it? No. Helps me to get a feel for him. We get to spend some time just hanging out, walking together. Horses travel a lot together in the wild, so this is a very normal thing for them in psychology terms. It's very natural for them. And actually I find most of my best business ideas or thoughts about horses have come from walking with someone on a dog walk or going for a run. So I do think there is something to be said for just walking. No. Yeah. We'll have a look at our hindquarter forequarter yield, as we do. People get all stressed about the biting. It goes with age. Don't worry, as he matures, he won't do it anymore. I think in Lollipop's case it can be a bit of an anxiety thing, but it's not something to stress over. You can't do a huge amount about it. If you tell them off, they'll just try and do it when you're not looking. If you just play all the time, they'll use it to not do things that are important. So it's a little bit of both. Let them play a little bit, say no a little bit. You are the leader in any situation, so you can decide, is it appropriate to play right now or not. Even worse is if you shut it down all the time, then they might not play with you anymore. And that would be even worse than a horse that tries to play with you when you don't want to. Because then you've crushed that communication back and forth. And the whole idea behind what I do is to create a partnership with my horse where he feels like he can tell me if something's wrong, and vice versa. It's very easy when you're in the leadership role. It's very easy to become the master of no, where everything the horse says you say no, and then they're expected to say yes to everything you say, which doesn't work, obviously. You'd think I'd starved him. He has actually had extra hay this morning, haven't you? Are you an abused Arabian? Hey? Do you have... Is it terrible? But yeah, I say it every morning while I'm walking around. These videos are not meant to be educational, how to train your young horse videos. These are kind of a diary or a record of what it takes to train a horse, from unhandled, you know, scared of the saddle, scared of the rider, whatever, to going to the showcase in November, which we plan to do, and performing a show in front of hopefully thousands. Hopefully we're able to fill the stands again by November. I'll be bringing Puff the Wonder Arab, who, for anyone who's interested, he has had an injury recently. He's doing better, but he still has to have another week off. He really did a number on his shoulder in particular, and so I have to do stretches with him every other day, and yeah, keep building him up back to being riding safe again. Oh, that prancy trot though. Look at that prancy trot though. So, just rather than trying to block all this lovely energy, let's put it to a use. I'm not sure he knows I don't want him to jump yet. Talked about it a little bit in one of the earlier videos, how you don't want your horse to come out and just go wild right off the bat, particularly if they've been stabled. It's how you create injuries. But it's a bit of a balance with a young horse, because if you just make them slow, you're taking it out of your emotional bank account. You're going to get sort of that resentment, that unhappiness on their part. If you just let them run around crazy every time, then that's going to become the routine, and then of course they get injured just because they come out here and they think that's what you want. It's quite a good example today. Cora came by and I could have, you know, taken out of my emotional bank account and gone, sure, you need to walk another lap because you've only done 2 on this rein and you did 4 on the other. But instead of that, let's take this energy and do something with it. We know we have to do these exercises to warm up. I've got it in my mind though that we need to walk another lap on the right. Haven't I? Oh, you're so prancy, look at you. Hey. And you can see, like, now that I've let him run a little bit, I'm actually having to drive him on rather than... What I like is he's getting a little bit less sensitive to when I'm telling him off, in brackets. I've never really told this horse off, but they're so sensitive, little Arabs. They get really offended easily. There's been a few times today where I've said move and he's been a little dull, where before he was really sharp. And I like my horses to be sharp, but at the same time it needs to be sharp, relaxed, right? What I was getting was sharp with tension. Very good. Very good, kiddo. I now can't remember if we went round this way before or not. It's bad, isn't it? That's pretty bad. Oh, the sun's coming out. Oh, we're going to get a bit of sunshine. Come on then, let's go for a walk. We'll walk one lap. Okay. No? You want to get saddled? Right now? Okie dokes. Well, I'm not going to argue with you, are you? You know, this thing between me and Lollipop, it's a partnership, right? It's not just me telling Lollipop what to do. And we forget that in order to have a partnership like that, I have to let him tell me things, right? And equally, he has to tell me if he's unhappy about something, or I have to be able to tell him, actually no, you can't do that, or yes, you can do that, or whatever that thing might be. Oh, good little wallop. Hey? Oh, must I? Oh, human, must I? Oh, Lollipop. Oh no, Lollipop, what happened? Don't look so sad. You make me feel sad. You do those big brown eyes at me. I don't know if he's actually got the sad face, he just did the puppy face. You know, the one, the puppy out in the rain face. I don't actually know if it means they're sad or not. People often ask me, because obviously I do behaviour. That's my thing, is to watch them in the field, study behaviour. I've had the joy of watching horses in America and Australia, wild horses, and domesticated even. You learn a lot from them. But I get asked, is my horse happy? A lot. And the answer is always yes, because horses just make the best of any situation. They're really good like that. I think the real question is your horse relaxed? Because if he feels stressed by anything you're doing, tense, that's probably the closest thing you can get to an unhappy horse. Because a horse's emotions are very different to ours, because of what they have to go through in life. Oh, Lollipop. He definitely feels a little bit quieter today, don't you? A little subdued. Hey, just a little bit more subdued today, huh? It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, he's very clever, if he kind of knows what's coming. He's got that sort of clever Arab brain, starts to anticipate what's going to come. Just get on with it, human. Bite you. Yeah, I really want to ride you though. I want to show you all the cool things we can do if we get you riding, hey? That leg is not in a very comfortable position for this, is it? Hey? I hesitated. Why did I hesitate? That was terrible. I'm so sorry, kiddo. You flinched and I hesitated. Double whammy. I was thinking about that leg, hey? There we go. I was thinking about adjusting that leg and I probably should have adjusted it, hey? That's all good, Lollipop. There we go. You're so clever, hey? I'm so proud of you as a horse, hey? Oh. I do feel like, of all the horses I own, this one is one of the more talented, more sweet-natured. Well, you can't get much sweeter than Rudolph. So just put that leg just there would be perfect. But Rudolph has some other issues, which I won't bore you all with, but he's not straightforward either, let's put it that way, and I'm a little bit too heavy for Rudolph. He's got very spindly little Arab legs, and I worry that if I ride him too much, I'll damage his tendons. So he's going to be Zoe's horse. He's also a very right-brain introvert, and it's taken him a long time. He's only just in the last 6 months begun to really come out of his shell. You're introverting on this, aren't you, a little bit? Which is why we didn't live stream Rudolph, because it was a lot of just patience. Even more than this guy. This one, although he's not completely straightforward, he's a lot more of a standard type colt start, if you like, where Rudolph had to have special saddles and always had to be booted, and there were lots of other things we had to do to make sure I didn't lame him if anything went wrong, because he was such spindly little legs. And this one just a little bit sturdier, aren't you, for me to be rodeoing on. Funnily enough, Rudolph never did rodeo with me on, only on the ground. You could have a sweetie. You could. You've been a good boy. You're not sure about all this, are you? You can really see it in his face. Still not convinced this is a good idea. Are you? Good boy. There's a lot of licking going on there, hey? Oh. It's all right. It's okay. Come on then. We'll go for a mosey, hey? It's on your back. It's okay. Yeah? It's okay. Promise. You're alright. Excuse me. Oh, I've had a child-related cold. This whole time I've been starting you, haven't I? Snuffly nose going on. You are funny, aren't you? See? Look at how handsome you are in that saddle, though. You're so handsome in that saddle. I'm sure we did all the walking on this side, and we were supposed to be walking on the other rein. I'm sure I said right rein needed more walking time, not left rein. I'm sure that's what I said. Oh, such a good boy, aren't you, hey? You're just such a clever pony. How'd you get out, hey? There you go. Oh. Oh. Oh well, we had a feeling it might cause you a little bit of tension. And again, you know, it's the rope arounds cause a little bit of tension. So, rather than trying to be like, no, you can't move, let him burn that off. We know he's in a relatively calm mood today, so I don't need to And he doesn't really want to be trotting today. There's some days he's come out and he's really wanted to run. But yeah, today he keeps stepping over to me going, can I just stand today? So yesterday was kind of hard. And then we did nearly 2 hours yesterday in the end, because I couldn't leave it on a bad note, could I? Zoe actually commented, if you don't know my partner Zoe, who does this business with me, she actually commented and said, it's the longest I've ever seen you work on a first ride. Normally I just sort of mooch around at the walk a little bit, get off and everything's fine. Interesting, it's very much like I was watching the video back and you can really see that it's when he crosses that hind leg under that he gets upset. Atta boy. See that one more time to the right? Shall we? Oh, such a little wonder Arab. Do it as many times as it takes to not be a worry for you, kiddo, hey? You see, we try to have the rope there without making a request. Step back, pull the rope, make the request. There's the hind end step. It is, isn't it? It's every time you make that hind end step. Hey, you can do it. Oh, Wally Pop. You're okay. And you know, sometimes you have to make a mistake or push something a bit harder to find out the things you need to work on. It was Zoe actually who reminded me about the rope around, that I hadn't done it with the saddle on. I'd only done it pre-starting him. I was kind of like, yeah, why hadn't I done that? I do normally do that. But as I said, this video is not a how to start a young horse video. If I had made a how to start a young horse video, this would be quite possibly one of the exercises I would stick on there as a make sure you do this before you get on. That a boy, lollipop. Hey. Oh, that a boy. And now we finally get to catch up the walk laps on this right rein, hey? Talked about it before a little bit, but I'll say it again. It always looks very casual when you're walking along like this, shoulder to shoulder. It's actually one of the safer positions you can be in. I've been doing this as a job for 10 years, and it's been my goal to do this as my job for 20. And I am yet to, touch wood, break any bones on the ground, and I've only fractured my wrist last year on my own horse at the Holts. That's a story. Bareback laying across his back at the Holt. He did a jump, and I didn't jump with him for some reason. And I fractured my wrist, my left wrist. Which is where you may see I'm wearing a brace today. I knocked it a little bit yesterday. I'm really pleased with him today though. He seems to have really, he's turned a little bit of a corner, he's got a bit better. But yeah, sometimes you do have to push these things a little bit, and then you can see the holes that you couldn't see before. You are just such a handsome creature, aren't you? That really clean nostril again. Hey. Oh, don't be modest, you're very handsome. The sound cut out yesterday. I don't know if anybody was watching or anybody noticed. It was my little box fell off when I got bucked off, and we couldn't stop the session to fiddle about with sound. That wasn't really appropriate. But the main thing is that I didn't want him to feel as though he'd let me down or failed in any way. Because he wasn't trying to get me off. That wasn't his goal. He got in a panic because something touched his side, or it's irrelevant like why. The why is really not important. What matters now is what we do to help him feel better about it in the future. You just ignore all that malark, yeah? It's not going to get you, it's just annoying. But you just got to ignore it all, right? Alright? Good lad. There you go. Hey. I know you don't like your right lead as much, do you? Hey. Do it one more time. That boy. Oh. You did really good. Hey. Move that over. There we go. Good. Hey now. Oh dear. Oh dear. I want to be on this side. I want to stand on this side though. Because I happen to know you're a little bit more upset about it on this side. Hey? Oh, you're freezing up on me. Come here. Come here with that little nose. There you go. Just the nose. So I'm trying to move the feet. I know you wanted me to move my feet yesterday. Hey? Just that boy. Hello. Oh dear. Still not sure, are you, kiddo? You're still not sure. That's alright. Hey, that's okay. That was a lovely backup, kiddo. It's like there's still this right side, guys. I'm really not sure about that right hand side. Your main all sorted, hey? This was bothering me yesterday. I tied it wrong. I'm gonna fix it now, Lollipop, okay? Is that okay? I think it's been tied wrong for a little while. I've been swapping it with another bridle. And you just noticed. Admittedly not the most ideal time to be doing this, but it's gonna bug me if I don't change it, Lollipop. And I just noticed it just now, so let's deal with it right now, okay? Doesn't want to go, does it? I haven't done that thing, have I, where I untie it and retie it in exactly the wrong way? No. Okay, I've done it. I think I've done it right this time. God. Absolute. I had this the other day where I just got complete brain fart on how to do this. As if I haven't done it a million times in my life already. I know the knot's not going to come untied or anything, but you want it tied up right, don't you, Lollipop? Yeah, exactly. I get told I shouldn't draw attention to these things, but this is kind of who I am, so I do have little mistakes come up. You off? You worried? You don't need to be worried. You don't need to be worried. No. You don't need to be all stressy about it. No. You're okay. You're alright. I'm very proud of you. You're really trying, aren't you? That's the thing I love about all young horses. They do really, really try. You're really trying, aren't you? Little boy. Hey, what's that? Can I knock it off? I'm sure you can knock it off. That way? No. Over this way. Over that way. Over that way. Good. Very good, long pop. Okey dokes. My little stallion, hey, vicious little stallion. Ooh, a lollipop. Oh, it's a lollipop. Cute itchy face. Yeah, and this type of stuff, it's fine as long as you know you can say no at any point. When it becomes a problem is when you say no and they don't listen. But it's part of the, building a relationship, instead of it just being he does as I tell him to. Hey, lollipop. You're finding this tricky, aren't you, kiddo? Well, or at least you all know that I have not brought a started horse. At the beginning it was looking a bit like I'd brought a horse that had already been started to the party. Well, at least now you know, now that I've got stuck on something. And I have been saying how, actually, a huge part of what makes a great horseman is what they do when things go wrong, not necessarily what they do just because everything's going right. And a lot of times the master horsemen that you watch, like, they're just dealing with stuff before it even happens. Or if they are making mistakes, they fix them so quickly that you don't see them. And I'm not a master horseman yet. I'm pretty good at what I do. I like how I do things. I like my style of riding. Huh. I do. Yes, I do. That was my foot. That was my foot. You didn't actually stand on it, you just caught the edge of it. You were thinking about that outside again, weren't you? Hello, lollipop. How's my little wallop? You okay? You're okay. Hey? Hello. Watching the eye. See when we're ready. Might just hang out and wait for that car to go. Hey? We get all the distractions here, don't we, lollipop? We get all the various distractions here. Don't we? Don't we? Yeah. Yes, we do. I said it yesterday, but that moment where you separate your legs and get your leg into the stirrup is the most dangerous moment, on a young horse. There's really not a huge amount you can do at that point if they get worried. Hello, Lollipop. You know, once you're in the saddle and you're set like here, you're pretty much set to go, right? Let me get a barge going by. Of course we get a barge going by. Once I'm here, I'm pretty much like I'm going to try and stay on now, right? And of course there's a risk in that. Of course there is a risk in that. But in that moment when you're half saddle, or when you're mounting bareback and you're keeping your feet together, you're going to fall off and 9 times out of 10 land on your feet, right? As soon as you take those legs apart, that's where, if the horse has a worry or a spook of some kind, that's where you're going to be in the most danger. Because you're not going to be able to keep yourself on, you're much more likely to get tangled up, and you're much less likely to land on your feet. The idea being, once I'm here, sat on his back, I shouldn't come off. Right, once I've sat my butt in the saddle, it should be stuck there. We are talking ideals, of course. And we don't always have an ideal situation. Alright, Lollipop. Should we have a mosey? Should we mosey over to Puff? What do you think? You reckon you can give me a mosey? Such a good boy, aren't you, hey? And again, we're looking for that balance between being very laid back about life, but also we want something, yeah? Got to try and find that little bit of a, yeah, you can look at me on that side. That little bit of a, you know, we know the things that can go wrong, and we're prepared for the things that can go wrong, or we hope we're prepared for the things that can go wrong, but we don't actively sit here worrying about them, right? I'm just imagining we go for a lovely walk over towards Puff, and that's the end of the day, right? And someone bashes something in there. Oh boy, hey? Wasn't that good? I couldn't make it up, could I? I couldn't make it up. I don't know if you can hear that over the aeroplane, but somebody dropped a wheelbarrow on the yard and they just started spraying on the yard. Right at our most crucial moment, Lollipop. What I'm really pleased about is we obviously got to he really understood yesterday. Like, we obviously made whatever point we needed to make in order to make him feel that it's okay to be guided a little bit. But yeah, I'm going to guide him the other way now, and I'm just imagining that we're just going to have this wonderful walk up towards B, and everything's going to be great. But I'm also, you know, I've got my hand resting on the horn, which is to help brace me against the saddle if I need it, if he gets tense for any reason. That nodding is him, he's trying to do it. You know, you think of it like it's a really bad thing, it's not. He's trying. He's trying. He's just not sure if he can. And so it comes out in like a little frustrated thing. And now I'm imagining we're just going to walk a little circle in front of that jump. Because your plans change, right? He took a little front yield step. And now Hello. And now my plan has to change because I can't use my legs right now to ask him to walk on. He doesn't understand leg. Right? The walk on still creates fear. So what I'm doing is I'm knocking him off balance with my reins and then just letting him fall into a nice little walk, right? Instead of, that was another thing I noticed I was doing in the video that I don't normally get wrong, is and fall forward. Good boy. Into a nice little walk. Yeah, we can go that way. Where do you want to go, kiddo? You decide. I'm following you. That's it. That's what we wanted on day one, wasn't it? Oh, that's pretty damn close to perfect. I'll let you think on that for a minute. And I have to say, that is how most of my first rides go. There's something I noticed I was doing on the video the other day is I was letting my hand drift into this, what I call bullshit position whenever I'm teaching. And I'm shouting at myself on the video. You know, here is a bend to a stop. Here is a front quarter yield. Here is a hind quarter yield. This is a combination of hind quarter, fore quarter, and lateral flexion. It's a bullshit position. It's not anything, it's everything. I noticed I was doing that, which probably didn't help. Like I said, I'm not going to make excuses as to why. You really learnt the treat thing, didn't you? I gave him a treat when we finished yesterday. You really got that. I said I wasn't going to make excuses. I'll try not to. But you can imagine I'm quite nervous on these streams. I try not to be. But this is obviously I'm not deleting that video. I'm going to let people see me ride and get bucked off. I'm going to let people see me make mistakes. Because we all make mistakes. And it's how we get past them that really matters, not the mistake itself. Now, my instructor Kay used to say to me all the time, Jamie, as soon as you feel your brain say, let's just do one more, that's exactly when you quit. And so I'm going to get off there because that was awesome. And I don't have anything to prove today. That was a perfect one, wasn't it? That was pretty damn close to perfect. Lollipop. We got our nice little walk. And I've got till November, right? So I don't need to make that walk perfect today. I can end with him feeling good about the fact that he gave me a nice quiet walk and that was enough. It's so tempting to push for more. You have to remember you're pushing for quite a lot already. Hey Lollipop, I was pushing for quite a bit already, wasn't I? And the fact that he's, got the lesson from yesterday so well, even though I got thrown off, even though it took me 2 hours, because I fell off. Because honestly, if I'd stayed on, he probably only would have bucked 2 more times when you watch the video back, and I probably would have just still spent all that time getting to the point where he was able to take a nice quiet walk step. I doubt it would have been much different. It just would have been that I hadn't come off when I came off. So he still would have got tense the second time, the third time, the fourth time, just like he did on the video. I don't believe me staying on would have done anything other than stop me from getting hurt. Which I didn't, because we have a wonderful new surface here at Twyford. Anyway, this is going to be it for today. I hope you've enjoyed today. I've loved it. It's been awesome to see how far you've come in just that one session. Hey, really got through to you something. Don't put your chin there. You got to put your nose down and in, and then it won't hit your teeth. Just there, and then open your mouth. It won't hit your teeth. Good boy. Hopefully this cold will be gone by tomorrow. But you see how we didn't create any more stress because I didn't tell him off. After he threw me off, I didn't get cross with him. We just kept going. He's still not sure about that right side. My goodness, it's so much better. And I feel like sometimes you do have to get on and just sort of say, look, this is what we're aiming for. And it can help the horse to feel better about the process because they sort of see a purpose for what you're doing. There's a reason. So proud of you, Lollipop. Again, not an educational how-to. I'm not holding the rope. I should be holding the rope. I probably should have put the noseband over you straight away. I probably shouldn't be faffing around. These are not educational how to start your young horse videos. These are me having fun with my young horse, showing you a little bit about how I get my Wonder Arab started and what it's like. It is not even a representation of how I would start your horse if it came in for training, because I don't spend as long doing this, because I don't want them to want to come with me more than you when they go home. What I do though, is I do exactly what I'm doing now, where I have a video camera in the corner and I talk through everything I'm doing with your young horse, if you send it in for training. So that way you can be a little bit more involved in the training and kind of just know what's going on with your horse in training, rather than it being a secret thing that you're not allowed to come watch. I have the exact opposite approach. You can come visit any time and you can watch all of the sessions, so you know exactly what's going on. So if you're unhappy about anything I'm doing with your horse, you can say straight away and we can adjust the training or find you another instructor if you're not happy with what I feel I need to do with your horse, rather than it coming up after training that you don't like something about what I've done with your horse. We can deal with it as it's happening, because you can watch every session if you send your horse in for training. Oh, it's a big yawn. You think you deserve another sweetie? You have done very well today. I don't know if the begging is appropriate. I also don't give as many treats to training horses as well. Proud of our little Lollipop. That was a much shorter session too, wasn't it? It was only 50 minutes, I think. It wasn't bad, was it? It wasn't too bad, was it? Oh, I get to ride that trot soon. Well, if by the end of the week we can walk the rail, Lollipop, I'll be really happy. That'll be our goal, is to walk the rail relaxed. Hey, that'll be the goal. Fantastic. Well, like I said, I hope you've enjoyed this. Oh. I will get the weekly review video out. I know I still haven't managed that. Keep saying it. I will do it for last week. I'm really looking forward to doing this week's one, because going from what happened yesterday to today is just going to look, it's just going to be great to see the improvement and see his level of understanding grow. And that's really what I want these videos to be. I want it to be like a record. Where is it? Up on where the saddle was. On those shoulders. Oh, on those shoulders. I want to show a weekly record of what it takes, you know, the hours, the struggle, the difficulties. We will have difficulties, you know. Of course we will. Oh, where is it? Just everywhere. Just everywhere. Oh. Both sides, front and back. Oh my goodness, Lollipop. Of how to take a horse from, you know, unhandled, high, to safe to ride, out hacking, and then safe to take to a show, do a demonstration with, hopefully, fire and smoke. Hopefully we get fire and smoke in our depot. which I know feels like it's a long way off. But you'd be surprised what can be accomplished with daily, deliberate practice. Right, I can't stay here and scratch you all day as much as I'd love to. I have other horses to ride. I do. Yes, I do. Right, thanks everyone. I'm going to do a few more things to close down the stream. You go have a roll. Go have a roll, I've got to brush you after this. Thanks again everyone for joining us. And hopefully we'll have more positive rides tomorrow. Take off all the waterproofing.